Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, who all learned this truth from who do well. Peace and salutations to 144,000. Rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson through the Spirit. And I'm going to entitle this one, The World is Mourning Because of Who's in Rulership. Because we see what's going around the world, around America, Babylon the Great. How all these people are complaining about life not hitting the same. That now time is speeding up. Days feel like hours, weeks feel like days, years feel like months. That people aren't able to go out like they used to. They're having to stay in and can't go to these restaurants and different venues, movies, theaters, all these different events that people used to go back in the day. Now people aren't attending them. All these concerts and parades are getting canceled because of T attacks. And really is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai who's taking the mirth out of this world, taking the mirth out of America, because this current world, this current kingdom being ran by Esau Edom, which is the so-called white man, the self-proclaimed white man. This kingdom is about to wrap up. That's why the Lord is putting that spirit of anguish, that spirit of sorrow up in the air, because now people are getting hit with reality. Now people are starting to wake up to the fact that it don't matter how many years and hard work you put into this life, into this society, because like it says in Haggai chapter 1 and verse 1, I think it's verse 6. You work so hard, you work all these hours, you work all your life, but yet it's a bag with holes. It don't matter how many years and years you put in, because eventually inflation and the rising prices of goods, rent, groceries, it keeps going up. So you could get a raise, and then by next year, the inflation already beat whatever raise you got. It already, now you're at a you're back, below that level that you were trying to get over. Now you're below it again. But yeah, it's Esau Edom, the so-called white man, doing it, but really is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, because he's putting reality in front of these people's faces. They're trying to fight the system. They're trying to get over the system that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai set up. He set up these small hats, the tiny caps, the Amalekites, to set up a system where you can't get over it no matter how hard you try. Even these celebrities, NFL players, the so-called made it. Yeah, they may have all these so-called riches. They got a little bag, but they're still not happy because ultimately of who's in rulership. Because the world is being ran in wickedness, is being completely ran out of order. That's why everybody's unhappy. You got to wake up to an alarm. You're subject to an alarm. How the hell are you happy? How are you supposed to be happy when you have to wake up every morning, or whatever shift these people work, and you're subject to an alarm? Waking up at 3, 4, 5 in the morning. The sun's not even out yet. You got to rush to work, be stuck in traffic for 2 hours. That's madness. But now that these people are getting worn out from the mundane routine of having to go to work, rushing to work, avoiding accidents, people driving like crazy, road rage, and then you're stuck in this cubicle for 8 hours, and then you got to fight traffic again. It's madness. And now these people are starting to wake up that it's all bullshit, that none of this matters, and it really don't. But yet you still got people rushing to work because they still got to pay their bills, still got to pay their rent. But they don't see no optimism. You know, they're not optimistic like how they used to be back in the day. Because back in the day, 30, 40 years ago, okay, you know, you actually work hard. You could so-called achieve the American dream, get a house with the white picket fence, you know, get the wife, get the dog, you can send your kids off to college. Now that's all unattainable because it's all by design. Yahweh Bashim Shai put the spirit up on his devil to make this system crumble, and it's crumbling. And ultimately, that's what Esau Edom wants. He wants this place to crumble so he can bring in that NWO. So as long as this devil's in rulership, it don't matter how hard you try to get over this system, you're not going to be able to, because it was designed for you to not get over it. Ultimately, it was designed to trap you in it. And that's what Esau Edom is about to bring. He's about to enslave these people digitally by the means of that MOTB, which is the RFID micro C-hip. This is Proverbs 29 and verse 2. And it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And everybody's mourning. Nobody's rejoicing, you know, but the elect. The elect are going to be rejoicing in the fact that this kingdom is crumbling, that the prophecies are playing out. But other than that, you know, we're not rejoicing because we love working these 9-to-5s, when we love paying taxes, you know, we love paying bills. No, nobody's rejoicing because of that. No, people are mourning because now they're not able to afford their rent, you know, rising prices of goods, of basic necessities. People are crying out because holidays don't hit the same, you know, Christmas don't hit the same. You know, you had a couple weeks ago people talking about the holiday spirit. You know, they don't feel it no more. It really is Yahweh Bashim Shai taking the mirth, the spirit of folly out of Babylon, the great America, and really throughout the four corners of the earth. Because Yahweh Bashim Shai is showing these people reality. You know, he's giving them a reality that people aren't able to cope with all these pagan holidays and drugs and alcohol like they used to. No, Yahweh Bashim Shai is making these people face reality head on. And right now, yeah, they may be able to cope, you know, whatever coping mechanisms they got. But Yahweh Bashim Shai is about to take that all away. And he's about to put reality in front of their faces to the fact that they're not going to be able to escape it. You know, but we know that we have something better coming in. And that's why we're rejoicing, which is the kingdom of heaven is going to be established upon the planet Earth. But the rest of these people, they don't, you know, they think that this is the end all be all. That's why they're in that spirit of mourning, anguishing. You're like, damn, I've been duped. You know, I went to college for 15 years. I got my degree, and for what? You know, this is Job chapter 9 and verse 24, because really the reason why the earth is so messed up in every shape, way, and form is because of who's in rulership. The so-called white man, Esau Edom. And he was given that blessing by Yahweh Bashim Shai to rule the planet Earth for a period of time, so the world can see, okay, this is what's going to happen when you rule the world in complete, you know, wickedness, out of order, contrary to the law, statutes, commandments of the Bible. Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And that's who was given the entire planet Earth to allow them to rule for a period of time. But that period of time is almost up. That's why Esau Edom is crashing this system. He's putting that squeeze on these people so they can feel it, so they can beg for a solution, so they can beg for that charagma, the MOTB, the RFID micro C-hip. And these people are about to find out that right now, yeah, they may, you know, they're doing this in the green cheap, but what are these people gonna do when they have no electricity? They don't have no coping mechanism. They don't have Netflix. They don't have Instagram, TikTok. These people are gonna completely bug out. But it's all by design, because Yahweh Bashim Shai wants these people to feel it. Because these people are wicked as all hell. They're not worried about prophecy. They're not worried about Yahweh Bashim Shai. They're not worried about the kingdom of heaven. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. And that's where people are doing right now. These haughty ass people. You know, that haughty word meaning prideful. You know, these people are prideful as all hell. They thought that America was going to continue on forever. You know, that it was never going to collapse. That things were going to continue as they were. You know, going to work 9 to 5. And yeah, it may seem that way, but what these people don't see is what these elites are doing behind closed doors. You know, all these different deals. You know, these people are completely clueless, and that's why they're bugging out. Because they see that, you know, the society's not the same ever since 2020. That it's just been going downhill, and it's going to go more and more downhill. Along with these people's optimism for the future, you know, that's wiped away. Jump down to verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. So all these different, you know, means of people getting away from reality, you know, escapism, is not hitting the same. You know, the bread and circus, the distractions, the TV shows, the movies, the music is all trash. You know, the bars and clubs are getting shut down because nobody's attending them, because people aren't in that spirit of, I'm gonna go have a good old time because I'm so happy. No, whenever you see these people at these bars and clubs, it's because they're coping. You know, they're trying to escape reality. They're trying to force that spirit of mirth when it's really not there. But, you know, they're still going to be out there, you know, faking the funk. Verse 8, the mirth of the tabret ceaseth. The noise of them that rejoice endeth. The joy of the harp ceaseth. Going into the, you know, all these different events and parties and parades, you know, it's not hitting the same. All these different sports arenas, nobody's selling tickets like they used to, because Yahweh Bashim Shai is crumbling his place. He's taking the mirth out of America, Babylon the Great, out of Esau, Edom's kingdom. Verse 9, they shall not drink wine with a strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Yeah, and you know, right now a study came out that Gen Z is not drinking alcohol. They're not going out to these bars and clubs to overpay for watered down drink, liquor, wine, whatever they drinking out here. People are starting to realize, man, it's all bullshit. It's all a scam. You know, here you go to a club or a bar, you get a table, you know, VIP with the sparkling, you know, sparklers, and you end up paying like $500 for a $50 bottle of liquor. You know, so people are like, hell no, the hell with that. And that's why you have all these different restaurants, bars, and different music venues shutting down, because these people are overcharging for watered down liquor. You know, so, you know, these Gen Zers, they're like, man, fuck that. We're not about to go out there and overpay for that. Verse 10, the city of confusion is broken down. The city of confusion. You know, Babylon the Great. That word Babel going into confusion. It's nothing but confusion here. Everything's out of order, out of whack. The woman's ruling over the men. You got Eve being your boss. You got Esau, Edom over you. You got Moses walking around. It's just confusion. You know, you got the LGBTQ people. You don't know if it's a man or a woman. Verse 11, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. Yeah, the mirth is gone, and it's only going to get taken away more and more as time progresses, especially this year. You had people back in the day talking about, you know, whatever year was upcoming, oh, that's going to be my year. And then it wasn't a year, and then boom, next year's going to be my year. People aren't saying that no more. You know, people aren't at these gyms with their New Year resolutions. You know, and people are like, damn, why is everything feel so gloomy? Because it's Yahweh Bashim Shai ready to bring this place down that we call America, Babylon the Great, along with the ruler, the rulership of Esau, Edom. This is Sirach chapter 10 verse 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Yeah, and we don't have a wise judge. We don't have a wise king. Esau, Edom is the complete opposite of wise. He's just wicked. The only thing he knows how to do is destroy. But we got the kingdom of heaven right around the corner. That's when the correct and wise judges are going to be in rulership. But for now, the world has to see what happens when you rule in wickedness. Ultimately corruption, everything is destroyed. Verse 2, as a judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. So everybody's under the vibration of Esau, Edom, that covetous spirit, that instant gratification, I want it now. But now that all these things are being taken away, now they're acting like children. They're acting bugged out. They're bugged out. Verse 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. And that's what Esau, Edom has done all his time of ruling upon the planet Earth. Destroying his people, giving people GMO foods, spraying the sky with chemtrails. You can't even have a clear skies. Polluting the water. Polluting the minds of these people. So that's why everybody's in that spirit of mourning, of anguish. But Yahweh Bashim Shai is about to bring this devil down. Verse 4, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable, and that's going to be the nation of Israel, starting with the elect. The 144,000, the large multitude. Those are the ones who are going to be profitable unto the earth. But for now, the earth has to see and feel, wicked rulership, which is Esau, Edom. But his time of ruling up on the planet Earth is just about up. But that's pretty much the point. Pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who all in this truth from who do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000